In the stillness of space, billions of kilometers from Earth, a machine constructed in the 1970s has just accomplished something it was never intended for. The Voyager 1, the most distant object made by humans in history, has now changed its sensors, not forward but backward, in our direction, toward the solar system, facing home. What it has also discovered there and what it sent back perturbed engineers and scientists. It astonished and perplexed astronomers. This is not limited to distance. It relates to the fact that the data contains something. The most recent message from Voyager 1 contradicts our complete comprehension of the space outside of our solar system. Magnetic waves in plasma, fields, and cosmic radiation. Until now, everything pointed to a single reality. And the most alarming aspect is this: innovation did not lead to discovery, tech. It was launched from a spacecraft that has less power than your previous plutonium-powered digital watch. A deteriorating heart for decades, it has continued to whisper back something we never anticipated hearing. So what was just confirmed by Voyager 1? What exactly is it about this mute signal that makes it appear more like a cautionary tale than a measurement? It all began with a cosmic coincidence that would only take place once in 176 years. Jupiter's perfect alignment, enabled by Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, allowed NASA to launch a probe across the Sun in a slingshot system aided by gravity, a method that would cut years off its travels. Voyager 1 was launched in 1977. It was not constructed for more than a few years. However, here we are, almost half a century later, and this nitty-gritty spacecraft continues to accelerate beyond anything humankind has ever mailed out. From Saturn's moon's flybys to stunning images of Jupiter's turbulent storms, Voyager 1 delivered some of the most famous scenes from the background of space exploration. Yet none compared to the challenges it faces now, because travel is no longer the only option across space. It's taking a risk in a domain that we were never supposed to observe, a place where the sun no longer has any effect and a new phase begins. Voyager was not simply getting over the heliopause, it disappeared toward it. And what it discovered on the opposite side was a far cry from what scientists predicted. Music. Getting into space between stars was meant to be a smooth transition. The theories were reassuring: a sudden fall in the solar wind, a magnetic shift in fields, and an increase in cosmic rays. Yet when Voyager 1 crossed the line in August 2012, its findings were perplexing. Yes, the charged particle density increased as anticipated. Yet the magnetic field, it did not change. That shouldn't have taken place. As soon as it left the heliosphere, Voyager ought to have experienced a brand new magnetic direction, one the galaxy, not the sun, dominates. Instead, it felt like you were walking through a door to the same room on the opposite side. The whispers then started, low-frequency plasma waves. Strange oscillations that the Voyager instrument still pointed to, pockets of rhythms, patterns, and energy. It wasn't erratic. It seemed well-organized, intentional. Some researchers suggested that Voyager had not left the heliosphere at all. That may indicate that the boundary is more intricate, chaotic, and intelligent than we ever imagined. Years after Voyager crossed the heliopause, the instruments in one started sending data that did not correspond to any known profile. Plasma noise in the background suddenly started, not coming from nearby stars or supernovae, but from what appeared to be a source replicating the Voyager signal. This was not merely static, it acted like feedback. There was something that wasn't only getting the Voyager signal, it was responding, but in the language of wave patterns, not in the frequency of radio, not in binary. The repercussions were awe-inspiring. Could the extrasolar medium, long considered silent and empty, actually respond to our messages? Is space listening to us, or worse, does it contain something? It was bold of some researchers to call it resonance. Others feared a far-off stranger. In any case, the Voyager crew knew it couldn't be an accident. This was brand new, undefined, and growing stronger. Then Voyager carried out an action it had never attempted before. It stopped for almost. The data stream developed into irregular. Neither lost nor failed. Merely sporadic, as if the spacecraft were being obstructed, redirected, or repurposed. Some people thought it was only an error in the out-of-date software. However, now when the stream resumed, the instruments were ready. They had veered slightly off course in her focus, away from its path in the direction of some other thing. Somewhere in the process, Although Voyager had not physically turned, it had perceptually. The reorientation of its sensors toward the region it occupies behind it had come from the solar system, and it sent back books that we can barely interpret. Particles, energy fluctuations, surges in density, as if something is waking up immediately behind us. Voyager 1 carries the well-known golden record, an earthbound message intended for all intelligent beings who might encounter the spacecraft in the future. Images, music, and greetings in 55 languages of Earth's life, each carefully selected to symbolize the very essence of humanity. It was a sign of hope, interest, and confidence in the unknown. However, what if that message was not simply passing through space remaining? What if there was already something that located it? After Voyager changed its course, according to NASA analysts, changes in the electromagnetic field of the noise from the spacecraft's surroundings. There were oddly similar patterns that emerged to the modulations of the waveform used in the audio encoded by golden records. A lyrical sequence, a mirrored pulse. It appeared as if the message had been taken into account, pondered, or perhaps responded to. The Voyager team has not yet released what they think led to these anomalies, but one of them was internal. Some scientists are concerned that our attempt to communicate may have led to a wake-up call. We needed someone to locate it, but we never inquired whether they'd like to locate us. Voyager's turn event occurred shortly thereafter. The cosmic dust detector, previously believed to be nearly ineffective from this distance, started logging unanticipated effects. Tiny particles that are too numerous, too dense, and moving at different rates. These weren't interstellar dust grains wandering aimlessly. They followed orders, structured and grouped. Instruments showed that there was a trace in the particles, elements of rarer exotic isotopes found in our own galaxy as well. It appears as if Voyager had reached a spaceport. That didn't quite make sense. The fact sparked a wide range of dark theories. Turbulence of matter to artificial debris fields. Others suggested it might be that something had been overlooked by Voyager, something larger, the outer edges of an inactive structure that is too vast to comprehend fully, something old, broken, or awaiting its time. Music, the unfathomable, then followed. After years of flawless travel, Voyager's path began to change, albeit in a subtle way, not through the thruster's input, nor despite gravitational interference, but an invisible pull. Despite being outside of any known planetary body's influence, it was enough that its course slightly veered to notify mission control. Simulations unsuccessfully replicated the movement without relying on an outside force, possibly electromagnetic, perhaps gravitational, conceivably deliberate. What would result in the ability to alter a 720 kilograms floating spacecraft's course in the middle of nowhere? Moreover, why would you? Do you want to? Voyager was more than shifting its focus. It was being attracted to something, or maybe being called back. After that, through the final functioning plasma wave sensor, something came through. A decrease in frequency, then an increase in amplitude. Neither interference nor noise, a profile that didn't match any known phenomenon of the universe. It was not a pulsar. It didn't stand out. It was undefined. However, a pattern, an ascending and descending sequence that then came to a stop. Several compared the signal to a heartbeat's rhythm. Others saw echoes of seismic waves. But one thing was agreed upon by all. It arrived from behind the current position of Voyager, from where it had already entered space, heading in the direction it turned to face. Was it a warning or a beacon? A sign that something is moving invisibly, slowly, through the night? Voyager 1, whatever it was, once a silent traveler, has confirmed our greatest cosmic apprehension, that there might be something else out there. And perhaps, just possibly, it has already spotted us. Voyager 1 never had the intention of being a time capsule or a messenger, tossed in a curious gesture into the vast unknowable. However, now, nearly half a century later, that messenger has retreated, not because we told it to, but because something went out, so it has been drawn to that. Once we believed that silence and empty space existed, unaware. However, Voyager's most recent data gives a very different impression. A universe where boundaries behave differently than anticipated, where signals don't echo a resource, where invisible forces shift the course taken by machines and possibly destinies. The truth is that we never knew what Voyager would discover there. We had no idea it would survive this long. And we certainly did not anticipate it would look back at us, not with coordinates or photographs, but with a warning encased in data, distortion, and silence. What then occurs? We wait, we watch, and maybe we get ready. Because if Voyager 1 just proved what we already knew, feared, the story continues. It's just starting. If this didn't help, stunned as if it had deep-seated effects, don't let this video detract from who you are at the conclusion of your journey. Get started now. James would like more information from Voyager, Webb, as well as the darkest recesses of the cosmos. Comment down below. What do you think Voyager encountered? Do you believe we are being watched or becoming aware of what has always been there? Additionally, share this video with someone who still believes that space is quiet.